Hello everybody, welcome back to the channel. My name is Jose, but you can call me Juice, and I hope y'all are having a great motherfucking planty day. So today I am finally doing my first official houseplant tour, so I hope y'all are ready for what's in store. I honestly don't know how many houseplants I have because I've never gone around and counted them. But before I get into that, if you didn't know, I be uploading plant content here every Wednesday and Friday. So if that's something you'd be looking for, I got you, and maybe you want to go ahead and check out my other videos, and if you already have, you should definitely click that subscribe button down there. Also, don't forget to leave a like or a comment because it would really help my channel out and I would also really appreciate it. I also have a plant TikTok that I'll leave down in the description if you want to check that out. But anyways, let's just go ahead and hop right into this. So we're gonna go ahead and start with the plants in my office area. Alright, so the plants you see right here usually live on the windowsill, but I brought them over here just to make things easier. But we're gonna go ahead and start with my green Euphorbia trigona. So I got this girly last summer at Pistol's Nursery, and she was doing pretty good for me. But then when we moved into this apartment, my cats ended up knocking her over. So that's what that little mark is right there, because she fell onto the heater. So that part of her, got a little damage on it. And then ever since then, she hasn't really grown that much for me. I don't really know what's going on with her these days. She might just still be in shock, or maybe I just really need to repot her. I don't really know the exact care for Euphorbia, so I kind of just am guessing as I go, but I think I'm doing an okay job so far. She does have these little baby shoots that are coming out, but I don't really know if these have grown at all. Maybe. These look like new leaves over here. So I think she still is active, but she's not doing a lot, but it's okay. And then right next to her, I have another Euphorbia trigona, but this one is the ruby version, so it can get red or whatever, as you can see right there. So I actually got this plant in San Francisco when I took a little trip there with my family. She used to have a lot more leaves, but when I brought her back from San Francisco, she started losing all of them, probably because she was in a new environment. So for the longest time, she was just this main stalk right here with no leaves. But then finally a couple months ago, she started putting out these little stems on the side, and it's just so cute. And I'm just happy that she finally has some leaves again, because she was pretty bald. But yeah, those were my Euphorbia trigona. This is my cat trying to get on the desk. And next up, I'm just going to talk about this little succulent propagation I have going right now. So basically, this is for a burro's tail succulent. And the story here is one day I was looking at some plants at Park Rose Hardware, and I was looking at, the burro's tail succulent. I don't know if they're just super sensitive or something, but this little piece fell off when I was just looking at her, and it fell onto the ground, and I was like, well, they're probably just gonna throw this away anyway. So I decided to take it and try to root it. So far, I don't really think it's grown any roots, but it's still alive and chilling with me, and I've had it for at least a month, so I know it's not dying. And then after that, we have this little lucky bamboo propagation that I actually took from my mother plant right here, but we'll get into her in just a second. She be growing roots in there, and she's really cute. But yeah, I guess since I did start talking about this one, we will move on to the mother plant. So this is my lucky bamboo, y'all. She lives in this Dutch Bros cup. She used to live in something fancier, like an actual vase, but two of the stalks ended up yellowing, one after the other. So that's what these little props are for. So basically I was able to save the little branches that grow off. There is 8 in there. And if y'all didn't know, the amount of lucky bamboo you have in something can also have a meaning. So I believe 8 stalks represents growth, I think. Don't quote me on that, but that's the energy we are bringing into this space, so I think that's appropriate. But anyways, right next to my lucky bamboo is my Christmas cactus, and she really hasn't done a lot for me. When I first got her, she had flowers on her and she was looking cute, but then one of my cats ended up knocking her over and literally killed all the flowers and broke off parts of her. So I am trying to like propagate the parts that fell off, but I don't really know how successful that is right now because they be looking really sad. But the rest of the plant is chilling, but hopefully this summer she'll start giving me some new growth. But yeah, and right next to her is my Easter cactus, and unlike the other one, this one has lots of new growth coming in. You can tell by these lighter pieces. Here's a little baby right here. And by the way, I got this one at Trader Joe's, but this one I got last spring or summer, and she has been doing really well for me so far. I did have one bloom with her, so I'm excited to see another bloom, probably coming up soon if this is supposed to be an Easter cactus or whatever. And I can't wait until someday I have like a big full pot of this because they can like trail down and everything. But yeah, and next up we're going to be talking about my maranta kerchoveana, I think it's called. I don't really know, but I'll put the name up on the screen. But basically it is just a soft green maranta, and y'all, look at, she's putting out a new leaf from like a whole new stalk and everything. Like, wow, I'm so excited to see that. So I got this girly at Pistol's nursery when she was just a little baby, and as you can tell, she's still a little baby, but she definitely has a lot more leaves than when I first got her. But yeah, she just chills right here on my desk. And I kind of like how cute and compact she is. I'm just letting her do her own thing. And then right next to her, we have my snake plant. And I think I also got this one last summer or whatever. She just kind of chills here and does whatever she wants. But she actually does have some new growth coming out right now, which is exciting. So it looks like she's just putting out some new growth from the center of those stalks right now. And I have her in this clear pot, and y'all, look, you can see some roots up in there, especially right here. Like, dang, like at least I know she'd be happy in here. I know these do grow kind of slow, so she's probably gonna be, you know, kind of small for a while, but that's okay. I feel like that's more fun to see her get big from something small. I'm excited for our future together. And then next up, we're gonna be talking about my peperomia scandens, and y'all, she be real pretty up here on my desk and everything. A couple videos back, I actually repotted this girl into a better soil mix, and I moved her to a better spot because she did used to live up there, and as you can kind of tell, it really don't get that much light up there. So I moved her over here where she can have some better conditions, and ever since then, she's definitely been way happier. She's been putting out these new leaves for me, and they're really cute or whatever, especially when they're babies and they're like just coming in. When I first got this girl, she used to be a lot fuller, but she did lose a lot of leaves in the place that I used to have her in. So now I'm just happy to see that she's growing some more, and hopefully I'll have a full pot of her again one day. Oh, and I almost forgot to talk about this little cactus right here. I don't know the identification on this. It just says cactus, so if y'all know, you should let me know. And she's actually like the only cactus that survived being brought inside, so she be a survivor plant. Yeah, anyways, moving on. Next up, we're gonna be talking about my bird of paradise that is kind of hidden back here, and honestly, I have not talked about her in a long time. So for the longest time, she really wasn't doing much. Like, she was just chilling here and not growing. But she does finally have a new leaf coming out down here, and just ignore these lower leaves. They are really ugly. But I'm super happy that she's putting out some new growth because it's been a while, girl. But yeah, I just have her sitting here right beside my desk, and I don't really think about her, to be honest. I've actually thought about passing her on to a friend. And then right next to her, I have my big old begonia. I don't know the specific identification of this. It might be a Benigo pink, but I don't really know. So if y'all know, let me know down in the comments. But basically, this plant used to live at my boyfriend Ezra's work, but they let me take it home or whatever because they were closing down the shop that she lived in. And she has been putting out some new leaves for me lately, which I'm super happy to see. Like, look at this little baby right here. One of these days, I want to get her up on like a trellis or like a better situation, or even propagate her because look at all that bare stem that she has. Yeah, she didn't really like the move. So we're actually going to be heading outside now real quick, just so I can show a couple of plants that live out there. But yeah, let's go. So right here, I just have some more cactus that I don't know the identifications of, but if y'all do, let me know down in the comments. But she be cute. And then here's this one. She also be cute. They don't really look that different from when I first got them. I also have this oputia cactus right here who is really floppy because I probably need to water her or something. I don't know. I have not watered any of the plants out here in like months, except for my catnip plant over here, which is growing pretty nicely if I do say so myself. But yeah, so I just grow this for my cats. And is there a freaking aphid on it? Y'all, I think that's an aphid right there. But anyways, ignore this plant because she be dying because I don't take care of her. A lot of the plants out here I just kind of left to die in the winter, but some of them survived, like this other prickly pear cactus. But honestly, I don't really care about this one that much because she always gets freaking little spikes in me, so she's more of an annoyance. So I'm probably gonna get rid of her one of these days. So I'm actually really happy I went outside and caught those aphids, because y'all, they can be a pain in the butt when there's a lot of them, but luckily there was only a couple. But anyways, we are back in my room now, and I'm gonna go ahead and show you the rest of the plants. So we're gonna go ahead and start off in this dark corner where my ZZ plant lives. Yeah, she don't really do too much. I stuck her in this dark corner since they can kind of tolerate low light, and I don't really have any other places to put her, so she just chills here by my boyfriend's PlayStation that never gets used. I did repot her kind of recently in a TikTok, so if you haven't seen that, maybe want to go follow my TikTok. She hasn't grown for me in like over a year, so I'm just waiting on her to start growing again. But right above my ZZ plant, I have my Maranta, kerchoveana, variegata, because as you can see, she be variegated. And I got this when I was on a road trip with my friend Lucy. So it's getting close to a year of me having her, and she did grow a lot more, but I did take some cuttings from her. But I repotted her recently because the soil she in was not that good. So now I'm just waiting for her to give me some new growth. And then right next to her, we have my syngonium pink allusion. And if y'all heard me talk about this girly before, me and her still kind of figuring each other out, because I was having the problem with syngonium where they will put out new leaf, but it doesn't like fully unfurl. It only like unfurls halfway. But luckily that hasn't happened ever since I repotted her. I mean, it almost looked like it was gonna happen with this leaf right here, but it did end up unfurling all of the way, so I'm super happy about that. I got this plant at Lowe's, I think about a year ago now, and as you can tell, we've been, oh, sorry Tinashe. But as you can see, she's still small, so y'all can tell we be struggling a little bit, but hopefully we not struggling anymore and she will start growing for me. And then right next to my syngonium, I have my beautiful spider plant right here. And this is actually the first plant I ever had in my collection. So basically, when I used to live with roommates, one of my roommates got this plant and they didn't take care of her. So I started taking care of her, and she just, you know, kind of became my plant. So she used to be like a little baby, but now she is this full-grown spider plant. Well, maybe not full-grown, but you know, she's definitely getting big, and I'm super proud of her. She hasn't put out any like flowers or babies for me yet, so that is something I'm still expecting from her at least sometime in the future. So she's at least like 2 years old or getting close to there, and I'm hoping I'll have her for many more. Anyways, moving on. So next up, we're going to be talking about my Gopertia warsowixii, or however you say the name. I'll have it up on the screen, but this girly actually lives on the floor. I just decided to, you know, pick her up to show you y'all, and As you can see, we've been through our fair share of struggles, but this is the latest leaf she has put out, and as you can see, it's pretty much perfect. So I'm hoping she will start giving me some more leaves like that. Basically though, I was just kind of having trouble keeping up with the watering on this plant, but I think I'm doing a lot better now. And she also got spider mites before, so she been through it a little bit. If y'all didn't know, these are like super freaking soft and velvety. This is actually another plant that I got in San Francisco. So that means she be from out of state or whatever. So she's special. But wish her luck, y'all. Hopefully one day she will be a big bushy plant. Because y'all, these can actually get pretty big. So I'm hoping she will achieve that someday. So next up, we're going to be talking about my Rhaphidophora tetrasperma, which I also moved out of her spot so, you know, we could get a better look at her. I just recently put this girly on a moss pole, I want to say at least 2 or 3 weeks ago. I'm not entirely sure, but I do have a video of me doing that. So if you haven't seen that, maybe you want to check it out. So I actually saved this plant from root rot because I found it at Fred Meyer's and she was not happy at all. If I have the picture, I'll include it, but yeah, she was dying in the store, so I bought her to save her. And I think she was literally only like $7 because they put her on a discount since, you know, she was freaking dying. But yeah, she is definitely a lot fuller, a lot happier of a plant now ever since I got her. And I did used to have her living in Lecca, and she was doing okay in there. But when I moved into this apartment, my freaking cats, as they do, knocked her down, so she fell out of the Lecca. So I just put her into water because I couldn't be bothered setting her back up in Lecca. So she was rooting in water for the longest time. And then I finally potted her up and gave her a freaking moss pole. And ever since then, she seems to be doing just great. She has tons of new growth coming in, as you can see. I think this leaf is newer. And this vine right here is actually attached into the moss, which I'm super happy about because this is like the first time I've ever had a plant actually interact with the moss pole I give it. And then this one on the other side, I think is also rooted into it. Yeah, there's a root down there. I don't know if y'all can see that, but I'm just super excited for her to start climbing more and giving me some bigger leaves. But anyways, I think we're gonna go ahead and move on to a different plant. Next up, we're going to talk about this Rhaphidophora hei right here, which is actually my friend's plant. I thought I would go ahead and include her in this video since I be taking care of her right now. I don't really know too much about this plant. This is my first time ever caring for it, but she hasn't done a lot. She has put out this little baby growth for me, which is cute, but I'm still kind of figuring her out. She has this other side that really hasn't done a lot. I did try to take a cutting from it, but the cutting's just freaking rotted, so I got nothing from that. And then since we're over here, let's go ahead and start talking about the plants on my bottom shelf. So this right here is my Marble Queen Pothos or Epipremnum, whatever you want to call it. I think I've had this plant for over a year now, and I got her as a baby, and as you can see, she's still kind of a baby. I don't know about y'all, but people always talk about pothos being super fast growing. But for me, they're really not. Or at least not in the way that I want them to be. Mine usually just get really full first before they actually start trailing. I feel like when they start doing that, they like actually start taking off and growing really fast. And I honestly probably need to repot her because I think she's in an old soil mix. So, and then right next to her, I have my Stromanthi Trio Star. And this is a plant that I got at Pistol's Nursery, I believe. She definitely was a lot fuller when I got her, but she went through it a little bit, and she's actually putting out some new growth for me. So she has this new leaf right here. This is her most recent one, and like, y'all, look at that variegation. And she's actually putting out a new leaf right there, so I'm super excited to see that. I hear these can be kind of finicky a little bit, but for the most part, she's pretty easy to take care of. And then right down here, I have some Monstera adansonii cuttings. I'll show you the rest of the plant in just a little bit. They are starting to root a little bit, if y'all can see. And then down here, I have a little baby Syndapsis argyrius, because I took some cuttings from my mother plant and I just planted them into a new pot to kind of like restart. And like basically the mother plant is not looking her best. But anyways, right next to my Stromanthi Trio Star, I have my Nepenthes plant. aka the pitcher plant. So basically these are carnivorous, and they usually will put out pitchers that will attract bugs into them, and they will eat the bugs, and that's how they get their nutrients. But as you can see, mine don't really got any pitchers right now. It does have a tiny little baby one back there, but that's been there for a while and it hasn't opened at all, so I don't really think it's gonna open anytime soon. But other than that, she's just been chilling here. I believe they do go dormant in the winter, so that's probably why she hasn't given me any new pictures. But she is starting to like grow actively again, I believe, because she did put out this leaf kind of recently, and it looks like she's starting to work on another one. And she actually has a little baby down here that is also starting to grow again. So I'm hoping that she's starting to come out of dormancy and she will start making some pictures for me again, because y'all, ever since she went to sleep, the freaking fungus gnats have been having a party, and I need them to stop that party and go, because no, you know. And then right next to my pitcher plant is just these pothos cuttings that I actually took from my marble queen, but these are just the green ones and they are rooting nicely. But I just wanted the green ones, so then I will technically have a whole new plant. It will be known as like a jade pothos, aka just all green or whatever. But yeah, I'm super excited to pot her up whenever she's ready. And then right next to her, we have my philodendron bipennifolium. And this is yet again another plant that I got at Pistol's nursery, and she just be doing her thing. She would be taller, but I did end up taking some cuttings from her, so she's just now starting to give me some new leaves. So this one be new, and this one be new as well. And she got a new leaf coming out right now, and she just had a new one pop out back here. I actually just finished talking about her in my last video, because if y'all didn't see it, I actually talked about all my philodendron that I have in my collection. So if y'all are interested in seeing that, you should definitely go watch that. I really want to give her a moss pole so she can start giving me these mature leaves again. For now, I just let her, you know, do whatever she wants to do. And then right down here, we have some philodendron micans cuttings that I took from this plant right here, which I will talk about in just a little bit. But I'm going to show you all the cuttings first. And they are starting to root. I don't know if y'all are going to be able to see anything down there. I'm just super excited to have some more of this plant. And then right next to her is this little prop box I got going right here. So basically, I just have some philodendron Brazil cuttings and some more Syndapsis argyrius cuttings. And I even have a little pink princess chonk in here that I don't really know if it's gonna do anything, but I just threw it in there to see what happens. But anyways, now we're moving on to my top shelf. So first off, we're starting off with my rickrack cactus, and I got this girly at Fred Meyer's, and I probably had her for like over 6 months. I know for sure not a full year yet, but she has lots of new baby growth coming in, which I'm super happy to see. And I just can't wait until this plant is like super long and bushy one day, because these be like hanging down and everything, or you can even have them climb up, because they do shoot out aerial roots once they get big enough. And then right next to her, I have my philodendron micans that I just showed the cuttings of. And I actually grew this plant just from 2 little baby single leaf cuttings. So I'm really proud of myself that I was able to like grow out this full freaking plant. And she's always growing. They grow pretty fast. So she has some new leaves coming out here from a vine. She has some new ones right here. And I chopped her right here. And as you can see, there's already a new growth point showing. So I'm super happy for that vine to start growing again. And then right next to her, I have my philodendron silver stripe. And this is another plant that I got off of Etsy. She be cute, she be cute. I don't know if people still are crazy about these. I don't know, but they used to be pretty expensive, but I got a cutting of this for like $50, and it was like a big old strand of it, and it did come with some green parts, but I just cut off the green and kept the variegated parts. They actually do kind of grow slowly for me, so if anyone can relate, let me know. She has been keeping up the variegation, which I'm super proud of. I've heard these can be pretty unstable with the variegation, so I'm just hoping she stays variegated and doesn't start reverting. Right next to her, we have my philodendron Brazil, and this is another plant that I got off of Etsy. So when I got her, she was a decently sized plant, but the place that I put her in, I kind of forgot about her, so she lost a lot of leaves. and I was literally only left with like one vine. And from that one vine, I was able to grow out this cute little pot of her. She has some new baby growth coming in, and she's obviously growing right here, and that variegation be on point, and it's just so pretty to see these new leaves come in. And I hope I just have a big hanging basket of this one of these days. And then right next to her, I have my manjula pothos, and I've had this girly the same amount of time I've had the marble queen pothos, and she's definitely a lot smaller, but she's been through it a little bit. This is probably the pothos I've kind of struggled with the most, because for the longest time she wasn't doing anything, and it was probably because she was in really crappy soil. So I repotted her kind of recently, and since then she definitely seems to be a lot happier. She put out this new leaf for me the other day, which is super pretty. Like, look at that. And then this is her most recent one. I love like this big sectoral white section. And she's actually starting to work on a new leaf right now, if you can see that little leaf spike. But I'm just happy that she seems to be a lot happier these days. And I'm hoping one day I will have a full pot of her, just like with the rest of these plants. And then right above her, we have this little baby spider plant, which is actually my boyfriend's. So this plant has been small for a while because honestly, she do be getting a little neglected, because I don't mean to call my boyfriend out or anything, but he doesn't really be, you know, checking up on his plants that often. So I usually have to water this one, and she'll be like flopping over and everything and looking really sad. If you see these little marks in it, it's because cats used to have access to her, so they were biting her up and everything. But spider plants seem to be really resilient, because she has really gone through it, and she is still here with us and still growing, might I add. So I'm just super proud of her, and I hope she is nice and big someday, or maybe I'll end up adding her back with the other spider plant. I don't know. But right behind her, we also have this Syndapsis argyrius cutting that has literally been living in water like its whole life. I actually got this cutting as like a little extra in one of the plants that I ordered from Etsy. As you can see, it still lives in water, and for the most part, it seems to be okay. We don't really put nutrients in the water though, but we probably should if we want to see some more growth from her, because she hasn't grown too much. She actually does have a new leaf coming in right now though, which is cute to see. She did put out some other new leaves, but other than that, she just kind of chills here. It doesn't do much. For now, I'm happy that she's still alive. Next up, we have this little baby Rhaphidophora tetrasperma. As you can tell, this is very juvenile because it doesn't have no fenestrations or anything. But I actually grew this from a wet stick. I kind of like her looking like this because she almost looks like a completely different plant. So I'm just kind of letting her do whatever she wants. I kind of want to see what these plants look like when they like trail down. So I think that will be fun to see. And then right next to her, we have my philodendron ernestii, who is actually putting out a new freaking leaf right now. So I'm super excited to see that. So this is another plant that I got off of Etsy. And the little damage you see right here is from shipping, I believe. And she seems to be doing good. This was the last leaf she put out in my care. I definitely want to get this girl on a moss pole one of these days, but I might take some cuttings from her soon. I don't really know yet. I definitely do want to have her climbing because these leaves can get pretty big, and I just want to see her in her mature form. But anyways, we're going to go ahead and move on to the big mamas themselves, the freaking monstera deliciosas. So these are actually two separate plants, if y'all didn't know. This one on this side be my boyfriend's, and it be having some pretty big leaves. She even has these really long aerial roots in the back, and she even like attached to the wall for a little bit. But right next to her, we have my monstera, who has kind of gone through it a little bit, but these are her most recent leaves, which turned out really nicely, and I'm super proud of her. The last leaves she put out were okay. So this is one of them, and then this is the other one, and I don't really know what causes this problem, but this isn't the first time this has happened on this plant. I just have like a leaf that like never fully hardened. So if y'all know what that means, let me know down in the comments. I kind of want to get a better setup for this because she has this old moss pole that honestly serves no purpose. So I've been thinking about putting her on a trellis lately, so I'll probably do that in a future video or something. But anyways, let's go ahead and move on to some other plants. So now we're going to be moving to the other side of my room that I don't think y'all see as often. So we're going to start over here at my nightstand. Please just ignore the clutter right here. But basically, this is that monstera adansonii I was talking about earlier. So I ordered this plant off of Etsy as just a couple of cuttings, and they actually all ended up rotting on me except for one. And from that one cutting that survived, I was able to make this full plant. She's definitely doing a lot better than she used to. I did used to have her in leca, but she rotted in that as well. So I did put her in regular soil, and ever since then she has just been doing really well. This is her most recent leaf, and y'all look at those fenestrations. So pretty. But I did take the cuttings from her because I do just want a fuller pot of this, and I also want to put her on a moss pole because I really want to have a giant like adansonii tree like Becca de la Plants has. I don't know if y'all watch her, but she has a freaking huge monstera adansonii. Then right next to her, I have some cuttings of that variegated maranta I showed you earlier, and they are rooting up pretty nicely if y'all can see. And then right next to her, I have some philodendron pink princess cuttings, which are also rooting up pretty nicely. And right next to her, I have the pink princess herself, and she is so cute, so pretty. I love the variegation on her. So I got this plant at Pistol's Nursery, and she was like $98 or something. She would be taller, but I have taken cuttings from her twice. But I do have her on a moss pole now, which she actually hasn't even interacted with yet, even though I've been trying to keep it moist. But this is where I cut her last, and now I'm just waiting for her to put out a new growth point and start growing again. So hopefully from the new growth, she'll be able to attach to the moss pole a lot easier. And I hope y'all wish her luck on her growth journey, and I'll make sure to give y'all updates. Next up, we're going to be talking about my string of hearts, which usually chills on my windowsill. But this is her, y'all, and she's definitely getting pretty long. I literally got this at Pistols in like a tiny little 1-inch pot or something. But y'all, I have grown her out to this big plant. Oh, there's even a freaking flower on this. I didn't even see that. Cute. And like, look at all these roots growing down there, y'all. She is loving life. But yeah, anyways. So moving on, we got my Thaumatophyllum sprucianum. I think I said that right, but I got this plant at Pistol's Nursery as well. And this is the newest leaf she has put out for me, and it is just so pretty, and it is so big. Like, y'all, I'm proud of her. Basically, the leaves just look like really cool fans or something. But these can get pretty big, and I'm excited for mine to get bigger and bigger, and hopefully I'll have just a huge tree of this someday. And then behind her, I have my neon pothos, and I think I got her around the same time as my other one, so she is still relatively small. She just gets really bushy, but this is her newest leaf right here. Hopefully one day she'll start trailing and like taking off. And then right here I have my Aralia balfouriana, and I've shown her in past videos before. But basically, if y'all didn't know, these are like trees, so she can actually grow up to a pretty good size. She actually has a new leaf coming in right now. It's always so cute watching new leaves come in because they always start out really small like this, and they just keep growing and growing. And as they get bigger, they like show off the variegation they're gonna have, because when they're small, you can't really, you know, see that. But when I was moving into this apartment, she actually was in a bin of plants that literally fell and flipped over. So she is one of my survivor plants, and I'm super happy that I still have her, and I'm excited for her future. And then right behind her, I have my anthurium forgetii, who is just so pretty, and I love her so much. This is the most recent leaf she has put out, and it is just beautiful. Here are her other little leaves. They cute, they cute. And she just like lives in this sphagnum and bark mix. And then right in the center of all these plants, I have some philodendron camposportoanum cuttings, and they are rooting really nicely. They even have a new growth point, it looks like, on some of them. The rest of this plant actually lives in my greenhouse box over there, which I will get into. My anthurium also actually used to live in there, but she was getting too big, so I had to take her out. And then right next to all of those plants, I have my philodendron burley marks, and she just lives kind of on this moss wall. She hasn't actually attached to it yet because I need to do a better job at keeping this moist. I'm sure she will attach pretty easily because she does freaking have aerial roots that are dying to climb on something. Oh my god, y'all, I'm sorry if the lawnmower outside is super loud. If it's annoying you, it's annoying me too, trust me. But yeah, she is a pretty big plant. I just wish she was a little bushier in this section, but it's okay. She's just like growing off and doing her own thing on the sides. And then right next to her, I have my alocasia polys. And I actually got this plant in my first ever video on this channel. So if y'all been here since that, you a real one. But she did used to have more leaves. And then she did join the one leaf club with just this one leaf. But then I repotted her and I was able to get this other leaf to come out. And she even has a new one that is freaking unfurling, y'all. So I really feel like I've gotten the care down on this plant. And then there was also a stump in the same pot with her when I repotted her. So I repotted the stump by itself and put it in my greenhouse box. And it gave me this huge leaf, as you can see, like dang. And she even has a new leaf starting to come in. So I'm just super proud of these. And I know this is like the plant everyone tells you not to get because they're spider mite magnets, which I mean they can be, but as long as you are proactive about the pests, these freaking thrive. One of these days I do want to pot them back together, but for now I'm just letting them do their own thing, and I'll probably need a bigger pot anyways. And then right next to that I have my Musa Basju, aka a banana tree. This one's actually variegated, but you can't really see the variegation once the leaves like mature. And also she's really dusty because I've definitely been neglecting this one. I don't know, she doesn't really do much for me anymore, and her leaves have been getting stuck together and like not fully unfurling, as you can see. But yeah, I probably will end up giving this plant away as well because I don't know, she kind of just takes up space and I don't really take care of her that much. So also on the floor down here we have my boyfriend's Calathea ornata, I think it is, I don't know. But as you can see, this one has also fallen victim to the cats. It did used to live out in the office area on my boyfriend's desk, but we moved her in here so that she could be happier and not get abused anymore. So she seems to be doing okay. We're just happy she's still here and chilling and living life or whatever. All right, so we're finally moving on to my plant shelf, and we're just gonna go ahead and talk about my Cebu Blue first. She's really cute. I got her at Pistol's Nursery as well, and I've had her for a couple months now, and she's been growing pretty steadily for me. If y'all didn't know, these are pretty fast growing. She is putting out a new leaf right now, but for some reason she had like a little runner. I don't know why she did that. She did it over here too, where it looks like they were gonna put out a leaf, but like they just didn't. I don't know, maybe she got stuck. I think I do eventually want to stake her up and have her climb, because if y'all didn't know, when these are climbing, they can actually get fenestrations in their leaves, which look really freaking cool. So now we're gonna move to the top of the shelf, which is kind of a mess. I really wish I had better places for these plants, because this is like a lot of my trailing plants. I really need to get some more shelves up. But basically, we're gonna go ahead and start off with my philodendron heteroraceum right here. So this is another plant I've had since like the start of my plant collection. So she's getting close to like 2 years old, and I'm super proud of her. I got her at Lowe's, and she has just been growing with me ever since. And look, she's really freaking long, y'all. And she's starting to put out new baby vines out from the main plant, so it's really cute to see, because she's just gonna be even fuller than she already is. But yeah, so there'll be lots of new leaves up here, as you can see. Since I have all these grow lights right here and the freaking light from the window over there, all the leaves kind of like face in different directions, so it doesn't really look as full when it's trailing down. I want to get her in a spot where all the leaves can turn around and face the same way, and then she will look even more beautiful because she will look full all the way down. Regardless, I love her and I'm happy she's still with me. But right behind her, we have my Syndapsis chubii moonlight. And this is another plant that I got at Lowe's. She's actually grown pretty long. Like, I don't know if y'all saw her all the way down here. And also on this part, the vine like split into two. Like, that's cool. So definitely the leaves get smaller as she trails, but I don't really mind it, to be honest. The only thing is, this plant likes to put out runners a lot, so once she starts doing that, I will just cut the runners off and hope that she starts growing leaves again, and she usually does. I think I want to put her on a trellis one day though, but we're gonna move on. So right back here is my Scindapsus silver cloud, I think. I don't know the specifics right now, but basically it's one of those Scindapsus that are pretty big and got the super silvery leaves. This is another plant I wish I had a better spot for, because she has this long vine, but again, with these freaking grow lights, all the leaves face this way instead of like facing out this way. So one day I will have a better spot for her, but other than that, she seems to be pretty happy where she is, because she is right by this grow light, so she gets lots of light, which she really loves. And then right next to her, I have my Scindapsus argyrius. This is the mother plant of the little baby plant that I showed and all the cuttings. And as you can see, she just like looks funky. I don't know, like her leaves always look curled even when I water her. So I don't really know what's going on with her, but she is still like growing and putting out new growth for me. So I know she's not totally unhappy. I just don't really know why she looks so scraggly, you know? And then right next to her, we have my boyfriend Ezra's epipremnum aureum, or a golden pothos as they're more commonly known as. And this is actually a cutting from my plant that I will show you in a second, but it has gotten really long, as you can see, and it just lives in this little pot. I'm sure it really needs to be repotted. And then right behind her, I have my golden pothos. And this is like the only pothos I have so far that is like taken off for me. Look at her. She is trailing so nicely. And also she has a really good variegation. I don't mean to brag, but like she definitely be real golden. But yeah, basically I got this pothos the same time as I got all my other ones. As you can see, she's definitely done a lot better than the rest of them. Yeah, I really wish I had a better place to display her, because as you saw, she just chills in the back of my shelf there and doesn't really get that much attention. But like I said, I do want to get like more shelves to put up like on the wall, so maybe someday I can have her like hanging up here or something. I don't know, but now we're finally gonna be taking a look inside my greenhouse box. So let me just open her up real quick. So I did show off the majority of these plants in my last video, but we're just gonna take a look at them again. So starting off, we're gonna look at my philodendron squamiferum. And y'all, she has been loving it in here, because she has just been giving me lots of new leaves. This one's starting to finally like get that more mature shape, which I'm happy to see. And if y'all didn't know, these philodendron are popular for their little fuzzy petioles down here, and they're just so cute. And she has a lot of crazy aerial roots, and she even started rooting into the gravel down here. All those roots used to be under it, but I did have to uproot her for my last video to show everyone. I'm probably going to be repotting her soon and probably taking some cuttings. I think she did have some sort of nutrient deficiency, because there's like this streaking on the leaves. I just need to get new fertilizer anyways, because I've been out of my regular fertilizer that I usually use. But right next to her, I have my philodendron silver sword, who also has a bunch of crazy aerial roots. This one I grew from just a cutting, and she has definitely gotten big and bushy. She's not giving me any huge leaves yet, because I need to give her something to climb, but I'll probably do that in a future video. She just looks super nice and silvery, like y'all. She is so pretty. But right next to her, we have my Rhaphidophora decursiva. I don't really talk about this plant that much either, because I don't really remember the last time I showed her, but it's probably because she doesn't really do much for me. This is the last leaf she put out, and before that, she was just putting out this long runner. But after I put her in here, she put out a new leaf, and I think she wants to start a new leaf because there is that growth point right there, but it hasn't done anything, and it's just been like chilling there. So I don't know if anything's gonna become of that, but yeah, I can't wait until this is hopefully bigger someday, because these look really pretty when they're mature. So wish me luck on that, y'all. And then this one right here is my philodendron subhastatum, and she is a little baby right now. Basically, I grew this from a wet stick, kind of, because I ordered this plant off of Etsy, and it was a much bigger plant. But when it got shipped to me, it ended up coming up snapped in half at the base. I just kept the pot with the rest of the stem in it, and since then it has grown this cute little baby plant, and it's so much fun watching her grow up. She is like just now starting to get the red backs, which is what these philodendron are known for. I do have the rest of this plant down in my other greenhouse boxes, but I will show y'all that in a minute. But right next to her, we have my alocasia black velvet. This is the newest leaf she just put out. It's looking cute. This mark right here is from shipping, and I just recently moved her to soil because she was living in sphagnum moss for a while. I think she's gonna be a lot happier in there. She did have one other leaf when I got her, but that one ended up dying off. I'm not really sure how big these alocasia get, but I feel like they can get to a decent size, right? If y'all have one of these, let me know. But yeah, this is actually the only other alocasia I have in my collection besides my alocasia polys. Anyways, moving on. Right down here, we have my string of turtles, which just be vibing in here. But I'm just kind of letting her grow crazy, so she has a bunch of runners. She seems to be pretty happy. I mean, she's still growing, and none of her is really dying off. There is a part of her that looks a little yellow right here, but other than that, she looks fine. So I think I'm doing a pretty good job of taking care of her. This is another plant that I've grown from like a little baby pot, like the string of hearts. It was literally in like a little 1-inch pot. I also got her at Pistols, by the way. And then right over here, we have my philodendron white wizard, who I am in love with. She's definitely one of my top favorites, because just look at that variegation, y'all. This is the newest leaf she put out. It also has some really good variegation on it, and I'm just excited for her to be big someday so I can just see her in her full glory. Because imagine a big old plant with this good variegation. Like, she's gonna be so beautiful. But yeah, this is another plant I got off of Etsy, and she has been doing really good for me. The only problem leaf I have is this one, and it just be like browning off. But I think it's because it was like mostly white, because that's what this cut is right here, is it was starting to brown, so I cut it off. And now it's starting to do that again, but I'm just gonna leave it this time and see what happens. Moving on. Right over here, we have my philodendron camposportoanum, which I did cut a couple videos back, so she's not as tall as she used to be. And I put one of the cuttings back in this little solo cup with her, so this was the last leaf it put out, and it was a little unhappy with me, so it didn't unfurl all the way, but it's okay, because she does have another growth point coming in, if y'all can see it right there. But yeah, I'm just super excited that she's growing for me again. I really want to mature this plant, because I don't know if y'all have seen the mature leaves of this, but it's really freaking cool. Like, y'all don't even know. But anyways, right next to her, we have my philodendron mame. And this is yet again another plant that I got off of Etsy. And as you can probably tell, this is her newest leaf, and it is just so pretty. Mine is just a little baby right now, because these do get pretty big. So compared to like a mature plant, this is probably like a seedling, but I'm just super happy that she seems to be happy, and I just can't wait until she gives me some huge leaves. Like, I mean, she already kind of is. Like, each leaf that comes out is starting to get bigger and bigger. Also, this, by the way, is just a little manjula pothos cutting that I just have in here for fun. Basically, I kind of have it in here just to help keep the humidity up, since it has water in it or whatever. But yeah, I just thought I'd point that out in case anyone was wondering what that was. And then finally in the corner right here, we have my philodendron Burley Marks Fantasy, and she is really pretty as well. I really need to get her a moss pole or something to climb, because as you can see, she's kind of desperate for it. And these ones really love to climb, because if you don't give them that, then they start getting these smaller leaves. So I'm probably going to take some propagations of her soon, and then actually give her something to climb. And she just lives in sphagnum moss, so I also want to get her into soil one of these days. Yeah, but anyways, that completes our little greenhouse box tour. And then I do have some more greenhouse boxes down here that I haven't really ever shown or talked about, because I am just growing some plants for a different project. But I will tell you what's in here. I'm not going to open it or anything, but I do have a little baby pink princess, and then I have a philodendron ernestii cutting, and then there's the rest of the subhastatum I was just talking about earlier, so I got a couple plants of that in there. I also have philodendron bipennifolium growing in here, and then on this side I have some philodendron micin babies. philodendron silver sword, philodendron burley marks, and then all the way in the back is some philodendron camposportuanum. But yeah, and the other reason I don't want to open these is because they kind of have like a fungus gnat infestation going on in there. I don't know if y'all can see them, but they're like all up on the roof and stuff, so I don't want to like open this up and release them to the rest of my plants. I definitely want to get another bin like this for these kind of plants, because these little bins do okay at holding humidity, but I feel like this does a way better job. Sorry for like all the dirt and dust, but yeah. But that actually completes my houseplant collection tour, so I hope you enjoyed watching. I'm kind of tired out from doing all that because, y'all, I kind of have a lot of plants. So I didn't count the plants while I was looking at all of them, but I will count them when I'm editing. So I will put how many plants I have in total on the screen right now. I definitely still want to get up some more shelves and just like more surfaces to put some plants on, because I feel like some of these plants aren't in the best spots that they could be in. So I feel like a lot of my collection decoration wise is still like a work in progress, but I hope you guys liked what you see regardless. But don't forget to leave a like or a comment on this video. I really want to hear what you guys have to say. If you want to see more from me, please make sure to click that subscribe button down there. I hope you guys have a great rest of your day or night wherever you are from, and I'm gonna head out now, so I'll see y'all next week. Bye.